Some stories begin with noise, battles, storms, or the cries of those who witnessed history. But this story begins with silence. A silence so deep, so ancient, that even the wind seemed afraid to disturb it. Travelers who crossed the vast Andojen Plains spoke of that silence for centuries. They said the ground felt hollow, as if something enormous slept beneath it, not dead, just waiting. They spoke of nights when pale lights floated close to the grass, moving as if guided by invisible hands. They spoke of music, thin and distant, like a lullaby drifting from nowhere. They spoke of footprints that appeared in soft soil, only to fade seconds later. Yet no one ever found anything. No ruins, no bones, no tools. The plains held no history, and yet somehow held all of it. People whispered that an entire civilization had once lived here, one that refused to leave behind even a single footprint, a civilization that existed without wanting to be remembered. Most dismissed these tales as stories for restless children, and then, one ordinary morning, the earth finally opened. Dr. Elias Hartman had spent 20 years chasing this silence. While others laughed, calling it a ghost hunt, Elias followed the feeling, a pull he could never explain. On a cool autumn day, he pushed a simple core drill into the soil. He expected nothing but dirt. Instead, the ground vibrated under his boots, not violently, but gently, like something ancient was stretching after a long sleep. The drill hit a surface, smooth, flawless, neither stone nor metal. When the dust settled, faint geometric lines appeared, curving with impossible precision. Elias knelt, breath trembling, and whispered, "This changes everything." His voice vanished into the wind, swallowed instantly. As the team uncovered more of the surface, the patterns formed an endless loop known later as the Unbroken Circle. No angles, no corners, only flowing curves that seemed to breathe with the earth itself. Beneath their feet lay an entire underground plaza, built from a material soft to touch, yet stronger than granite. It had no doors, no stairs, no signs of occupation. It looked less like a place built for people, and more like a place built for time. At the center lay a shallow bowl-shaped carving, smooth as still water. Elias, compelled by curiosity, leaned close and whispered a single word. The bowl repeated it, but the echo wasn't an echo. It was a different voice, older, calm, impossibly patient. When Elias whispered his own name, the voice returned it in a tone that carried centuries. His team fled in fear. Only Elias remained, locked between terror and wonder. The voice did not threaten him. It sounded tired, like something that had waited far too long to be heard. The days that followed blurred into something surreal. The bowl responded to speech with fragments, images, emotions, pieces of memory. When several people stood in the plaza, the ground warmed beneath them, pulsing like a slow heartbeat. Elias wrote quietly in his journal, "This place is not a ruin, it is a memory, a recorder left behind by a people who did not wish to be remembered." From the fragments, a portrait emerged of the vanished civilization. They walked with no weight, literally. Their steps were feather-light, leaving no pressure on soil, no dents in stone, no trace of movement. They believed permanence was dangerous. They thought carving themselves into the world would disturb the balance of nature. So they lived gently, like a breeze that bends the grass without breaking it. Silence was their language, stillness was their philosophy. Every century, through a ritual of release, they let go of knowledge they believed had become too heavy, gradually erasing their burdens, their identity, their presence. They didn't vanish through tragedy, they vanished by choice. One evening, a dense fog rolled across the plains. It glowed faintly, moving as if alive. The team panicked, but Elias stepped into it. The fog parted for him, swirling softly. He heard whispers, gentle, layered, peaceful. The people of the Unbroken Circle. In that moment he understood. They had not died. They had dissolved into the world they cherished, into wind, into mist, into the quiet pulse beneath the soil. Their civilization did not disappear. It transformed. Weeks later, sunlight struck a hidden dome that opened like unfolding petals. Inside rested a smooth orb filled with shifting light. Elias touched it. His vision blurred into dreams. People with flowing silver garments gliding across the plains. Homes that rose gently from earth and melted back when no longer needed. Voices blending with the breeze. Then their final night, thousands standing beneath a star-swept sky, faces serene. Their bodies shimmered, dissolved, and drifted upward like soft starlight. No fear, no sorrow, only completion. They had finished their cycle. They chose to become part of the world itself. When the vision faded, Elias understood their message. They did not leave nothing behind. They left the gentlest truth possible, that to be remembered, one does not need to be seen. One only needs to be felt. On his final night before leaving, Elias whispered into the bowl, "Why did you choose to vanish?" The voice answered in the faintest exhale, "To live lightly is to live forever." A peace washed over him he had never known. But the strangest discovery came later. When researchers returned months after the excavation, the plaza was gone. Every structure vanished. No dome, no bowl, no patterns, only endless plains, swaying as if nothing had ever been disturbed, as if the lost ones had reclaimed their secret. Only Elias, in his old age, could still hear the whispers on quiet nights. Not words, just presence, a gentle acknowledgement carried by the wind, a reminder that some civilizations don't disappear, they simply move beyond the need for footprints.